Okay, so we start with roll call. I'm Suzanne Graham Gibson, Chair of the ACE Committee.
Gary Ressler, board member.
Martin Parker, board.
Cory Barta, attending the meeting.
With confidence. James with the Miami Film Festival.
Courtney Pienta with Kanima Fitness, and I would like to add a super shout out to Vlad. He's your guys' community outreach coordinator. He does just a phenomenal job, and just every orange shirt that I see just is so comforting. So
you seen Vlad at the gym?
I've seen Vlad every day.
Oh, good.
I'm Beth Brew with Beth Brew Arts, and I do site-specific public murals and sculptures.
I'm Casey Paquette. My first meeting here. I'm with Miami History and I guess a full-time historian now. I just retired recently from my day job. And yeah, I look forward to the understanding the grant process and seeing if there's maybe an opportunity to do some tours for the DDA.
Good afternoon, Chris Rupp, Tate Heritage Trust.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Carolina Lizarraga. I'm from Hola Americas. We did last year here in our center, our first Latina Powerhouse event, and we are part of this 80-year media company and love to work here in Miami area.
Venezuela, Miami Shoe Museum, proud DDA guarantee.
I'm Maurice Fehazen with Miami-Dade College, specifically with the Miami Animation and Game International Complex, Magic.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Laura Sainz. I'm here with CAF5, which is Alexis Garcia Production Company.
Hi, I'm Luis Sasa from FC Noise. It's a soccer business agency. We have created a corporate league.
Hey, Kaliana Alexander, co-founder of Columbia Miami, a media nonprofit based right here in downtown Miami, supporting independent creators in Florida and the region.
Maximo, Miami DDA.
Divina Mano, Miami DDA.
Javi Proa, DCCG. Kim Hills, Miami DDA.
Michael John Green, Acting Executive Director of the Miami DDA.
Hi, Bravo, the Executive Director of Juggernaut Theater Company. We produce site-specific and immersive shows in and about Miami. Hi, Natasha Bravo, I'm co-producer for Juggernaut Theater Company.
Sister.
Yes.
Good morning, Carlos Garcia, Miami.
Yvonne?
Yvonne Fenway from Miami DDA.
And online?
You got some. There's 42 people.
I don't think we need to. Okay, well, big shout out to MJ. He is our, acting executive director. So anyway, I would like to say thank you. I feel like I know so many people at this table and probably online, and that means a lot to me. It shows that we really have a growing movement here. And this is the first time I've actually attended this meeting. So I'm more here just to listen and help Kim with the guidelines, but I will pass it off to Kim to start the meeting.
So first, well, not first, because it's already been said, thank you all for taking the time to show up. Thank you all for actually being online. That in itself shows that you care about this grant program, and we appreciate you. So for this year, we have our Downtown Creative Collaborator 2026-2027 guidelines. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's roll it back. Before we get started, does anyone have any public comments?
You can raise your virtual hand. We're closing public comments.
Sorry about that.
So again, what you see online, since you've seen what we posted as of July 1st, we have updated those guidelines once more. This is the last update you will receive, and we are informing everyone of this new process, which we hope you realize and see the thoughtfulness we put into it. And we just wanted to continue to grow and make it bigger and even better with just as many people applying, hint, hint, this year, if not more than last year.
Last year we had
71.
qualified.
71 qualified. That's correct. So the overview, the Miami Downtown Development Authority, and you can read it along on the screen, invites visionaries creatives to apply for the Downtown Creative Collaborators Grant Program. This initiative supports innovative projects that activate downtown Miami, fostering cultural vibrancy and community engagement. I'm going to emphasize a couple of different sections because that's where the changes have happened. Grant funding amounts are $5,000 to $50,000. The funding period is October 1st, 2026 through September 30th, 2027. Now, here's a change, something new that we've added. We have blackout dates this year for events. Periods of October 1st through the 31st and November 30th through December 7th, which is Miami Art Week, Art Basel. Those are our blackout dates.
And the reason why is because October's too soon to activate and it's very complicated to try to get the permitting needed during Art Miami week. So we just decided to keep those off the calendar.
And so with these, if you do apply for events for just these dates, those will be deemed unresponsive app submissions and will not be considered for this grant cycle. Also, remember everyone, this is a reimbursable grant. Funds will be released after the event has taken place and the final report has been approved. There will be no exceptions. We will not be providing deposits or breaking it up into 2 installments. All funding will be a reimbursable grant and will take place after it has been completed. The Miami DDA cannot be the sole source of financial support. We say this every year, and we're going to continue to say it because applicants must demonstrate additional sources of funding beyond personal contributions to be considered. Commitment must be on grantor's letterhead and signed by the grantor. So just not on a white sheet of paper with someone's name. It needs to be on actual letterhead or email from actually the agency or wherever you're producing your event. Please be advised that grant terms and requirements outlined in the document are non-negotiable and will not be modified. Eligibility is pretty much the same. Ensure the project event occurs within the Miami DDA boundaries. If you click that on the application or on the website, it's going to show you where our boundaries are during the grant funding period. Must be a for-profit or a not-for-profit entity in good standing. We should be able to verify it in SunBiz if it's a Florida business and good standing and active. So just remember that, keep that in mind. If it's not active today, I will go home and make it active. Provide documentation of having produced similar activations such as images, budget, marketing plan, timeline. First-time applicants, if this is your first time, submit a comprehensive business plan, which includes the budget, timeline, and marketing plan. Submit a signed confirmation letter or letter of intent from the venue where the event will take place, which we've mentioned. If applicable, include copies of required permits or applications from relevant authorities. That means the city of Miami, Miami-Dade County, Bayfront Park. We've had applications in the past state that they're doing something with Bayfront Park, and they weren't. They were not when we went to verify. So that's why it's important to have that documentation. Show proof of funding from other organizations. You'll find us repeating some of this because we have to get the message across. The proofs must include the amount and be signed by the grantor. The event applied for must be open to the public. Private events will not be considered for funding. Disclose any felonies or misdemeanors on the application in that section. Now, our Downtown Creative Collaborator grants, they're broken up into 3 tiers. If your funding range is $5,000 to $9,999, examples of those would be small activations, pop-up art, live music at plazas, small local run clubs. They're focused on they have a hyper-local focus on community engagement, minimal setup, no major road closures or significant city resources are required. Estimated attendance, 100 to 499. We will be awarding 10 grants in that amount. Also for tier 2, which is funding range 10,000 to 15,000, awarding up to 10 grants to be awarded. Medium-sized festivals, which utilize prominent institutions, neighborhood markets, public art installations, or special run club events that are organized. They require city permits, some city service reports, estimated attendance 500 to up to 1,000 people, 999, and limited or managed road impact. For tier 3, 20,000 to 50,000, will be awarding up to 5 grants. There are large cultural festivals, parades, citywide races, events, major concerts, significant art installations. They require major city coordination, regional draw, attendance over 1,000 people, and significant infrastructure or traffic impact. Our funding priorities are to activate public spaces like rooftops, parks, open air venues. Foster community engagement, which means promote events that connect the downtown community and they attract tourism. Offer family-friendly programming, provide affordable events suitable for all ages and for the family to enjoy. And something that's not going to be over $60 as example for a family of 4. It needs to be affordable. Highlight Miami's global identity, showcase the city as an international cultural and innovation hub and culinary destination. Educate on culture and history, feature downtown's historic narratives and architecture. Content highlights downtown's thriving art, culture, and entertainment community. Needs to promote public transportation. How are people going to get there and how easy is it going to be for them? Encourage the use of downtown's multimodal transportation options. Now we have from Freebie, we have the Freebie, they're not circulators anymore, our ID Buzz, which are closed. And Freebie was here at the last meeting, letting everyone know how you can connect with them and utilize them for your events, to promote your events. You have the Metro Rail, the Metro Mover, there's the trolley, just making sure, or walking. Downtown is super walkable. Promote downtown Miami restaurants. We encourage event attendees to explore and enjoy local dining options. Again, take the time to partner with the local restaurants for your event. Something to keep when guests are in downtown, let's keep them downtown and make them want to stay for a while. And again, resident value. Offer free or reduced admission for residents, families, and students. Our evaluation criteria: administrative capability, clarity and completeness of the application, detailed timelines, and past performance. Marketing strategy, effectiveness of promotional plans, including outreach methods and materials. Your fiscal responsibility, accuracy of budgets and confirmation of additional resources. Community impact, the potential to engage the community and enhance downtown Miami's cultural landscape. The Miami DDA's acting executive director will appoint a grant review committee or selection committee to evaluate the applications and recommend grant recipients. The recommendations will be reviewed by the ACE committee chair and the Miami DDA acting executive director before being presented to the Miami DDA board of directors for final approval. But it will require final approval from our board. Our marketing requirement. Grantees are required to allocate a minimum of 10% of their total awarded grant for marketing and promotional efforts related to their funded event or project. And let me say, for all the grantees from this year, thank you. That was something we started this year and everyone to date has done so. So we appreciate you doing that. Now, don't make that the minimum. Let's allocate more. This includes, but is not limited to, digital marketing, which is social media ads, email campaigns, website, print collateral, flyers, posters, postcards, media outreach and public relations, radio, television, or podcast placements, partnerships with influencers or cultural organizations. The purpose of this requirement is to ensure strong community outreach, brand alignment with the Miami DDA, and public visibility of funded initiatives. Proof of marketing expenditures must be included in the final report. You guys have done that, along with analytics and documentation of the Miami DDA's sponsorship acknowledgement. Okay, now this one we have structured to be very detailed for everyone to understand allowable expenses and what is not allowed. That's something that we find to be a bit of a challenge during the grant process. Administrative assistance is allowed. So first, allowable expenses. Administrative assistance, help hired for the specific event. Talent, fees and honorariums for the talent. Technical, audio, visual, audio and sound equipment, staging, labor. Marketing and publicity. Social media ads, boosting, digital and printed advertising, such as newspapers, radio, banners, influencers, public relations services, and graphic design. Again, a reminder, the minimum of the 10% of the total awarded grant must be allocated towards marketing and promoting the event. Failure to comply with this will result in a 10% reduction of the grant award. Printing, banners, flyers, signs, posters, and brochures. Equipment rental, portable restrooms, tents, generators, barricades, chairs, tables. Event space rental, venues, parks, galleries, restaurants, etc. And supplies and materials, arts and crafts, table covers, decor, wristbands, tickets, etc. Now, what is not allowed? Events outside of the Miami DDA boundaries. Must mention it because every year we get a couple that are outside the boundaries. Again, please take advantage of the link of the map where you can check your address to make sure that it is taking place within our boundaries. The purchase of permanent equipment or real estate, not allowed. Debt reduction, not allowed. Payments to the event producer, full-time or part-time staff that are not hired specifically for the event. Event insurance, we do not reimburse for event insurance because you should have that to protect yourselves. Postage, couriers, and deliveries. Utilities, we do not pay for alcohol purchases. Travel expenses, flights, car rental, parking, gas, and mileage, and charitable contributions. And for compliance and reporting, all applications and communications must be submitted via submittable. No communication will be accepted through regular email. This just allows us to follow up, to track, and allows us to be responsive to you. Award acceptance. This is something new. Grantees must accept the award through submittable within 10 business days of notification. Failure to accept the award within the specified timeframe will result in forfeiture of the grant. Guys, we really want to help everybody and support all the grantees, but we can only do that when you respond. If you don't respond, that's someone else who's not being able to fund and produce their event. So I beg, not just I beg of you to please check your emails and respond within 10 business days. Grant award. To receive the full awarded amount, grantees must complete the number of events and programming approved in their funding application. Any reduction in the number of approved events will result in forfeiture of the grant. If programming changes are necessary, the grantee must notify the Miami DDA immediately and present the revised program at the next scheduled Arts, Culture, and Entertainment Committee meeting for approval prior to the new event date. ACE Committee attendance. Grantees must attend at least 2 ACE Committee meetings by July 1st, 2027. So why did we pick that day? Because that means you've met the required amount of attendance before you're applying for a new grant. Our grant season since last year has started on July 1st. So, well, not actually, we started a week after last year. This year, we moved it up to provide a little bit more time. And with that, we just want to make sure we have about 4 meetings throughout the year. We don't have that many. And the first meeting, surprise, is the award meeting where we invite everyone who's been awarded, and that counts. So we think it's something very reasonable to expect from all grantees, and just asking you to do it. Quick question. Did we say that board meetings and other committee meetings?
I thought we decided.
Just okay. It's just our ACE meeting.
That's just continue to have people participating and getting to know each other.
Yes, because this is a collaborative space and we want you all to work together. Failure to meet this requirement will result in the grantee not receiving additional evaluation points for consideration in the following grant cycle. Attendance at the fall acceptance award meeting is highly encouraged and will count as one of the required ACE meetings. So even if you're not awarded, it's a great place to network, connect, and to help support your event. Final report provided by the Miami DDA. This report, including marketing analytics and documentation of the Miami DDA sponsorship acknowledgement, must be submitted through submittable within 45 days after the event. The final report deadline will not be extended. Failure to submit the final report by the deadline will result in forfeiture of the grant. So again, it's pretty self-explanatory. Please turn your final report in within 45 days after the grant has been awarded. Invoice, include an invoice when submitting the final report through submittable. Insurance, you must provide a certificate of insurance naming the City of Miami and the Miami DDA as additional insurers and demonstrating all of required insurance coverages at least 2 weeks before the event date. If any required coverage is not obtained, you must submit a signed letter on the company institution's letterhead explaining the reason the coverage was not obtained. But again, we need this in advance, 2 weeks beforehand, not the week of. W-9, a current W-9 must be submitted when requested. The company name and address on the W-9 must match your SunBiz record. Event changes. Your event change must take place on the date submitted in the application. This year, we're requiring that with your first date, a backup date in the application in the event of an extenuating circumstance, such as weather, serious illness or injury, and government orders or emergency declarations. This allows for us to be prepared if it's weather or something, to prepare and expect that second date instead of your event being canceled and having to then figure out and scramble for another date. Failure to hold your event on the submitted date, or if applicable, the backup date, will result in forfeiture of the grant. If you schedule your event during a major holiday, the holiday season, Valentine's, etc., or a citywide activation, like this year we had the World Cup, and subsequently change the date, you will forfeit the grant unless the change is due to an extenuating circumstance. In such cases, the event must be rescheduled within a reasonable time frame around the original holiday period or citywide activation date. Almost done here. Communication. The Miami DDA will periodically send requests for required documentation and updates. It is the grantee's responsibility to regularly monitor email and respond within the specified deadlines. Failure to respond within required time frame will result in 10% reduction of the grant award. Lobbying. Do not contact any Miami DDA staff, board members, and or review committee members to lobby or advocate for the grant. The following communications require a response within the stated time frame. The award letter acceptance, if awarded, 10 business days. The final report receipt confirmation, 10 business days. Unresponsive grantee for more than 30 days, the grant will be deemed forfeited. And sadly, we've had this happen more times than you know. Important. Another reminder at the end for our blackout dates, October 1st through the 31st and November 30th through December 7th. Those applications, if you submit those days, they will be deemed responsive and will not be considered for the current cycle. If you have any questions, you can reach me and Yami via submittable. This will require you, after you leave here, if it's questions about the grant, to go in and set up your account if you haven't already, and then send us emails, because from this time forward, we will be only communicating with you all via submittable regarding the grant process. And for technical support, you can always email organizationsupport@submittable.com. Yes, they're very responsive. Does anyone have any questions?
Do you have a calendar of blackout dates beyond the November 1st through 30th?
Those are the only,
Those are the only ones.
those are the only dates.
Are there ways to figure out if there's like, for example, if you're proposing an event that starts in Bayfront Park has their closures. Is there a DDA wide sort of?
No, the best thing would be for you to talk to Bayfront Park.
Yes.
We highly recommend, it's really important. There's 3 partners in this, whatever your project is, and maybe more. You're one partner, the DDA is the other, and then wherever you're gonna have the event at is your other partner. They're the ones with the space. Really important that you talk to them. Them having the space and you being able to access the space on their day is key to your project being successful. We are gonna wiggle or move on people missing the date and then trying to reschedule for a different date or a different day. Due to this committee's great work, due to the leadership of our chairwoman, this is an oversubscribed grant opportunity. There are many people who fill out applications and won't get the money. If you fill out this application and you submit it and you're awarded and you do not perform on the date that you said, you are literally taking a grant that could have been awarded to somebody else in the community that could have done just as good a job. And so therefore, it's highly important that you talk to your other partner, which is whatever the partner is that has the space, and get that figured out and feel comfortable with that, and then figure out what your backup date is. But we hope that all of you will be successful on your first proposed date.
So if you have a recurring date that's more or less roaming, for example, a tour, to check with what the Bayfront Park that starts there, but also with the city of Miami in terms of street closures and other events that are booked ahead of time.
Requires it, if it requires that.
I don't think if a street is closed, you won't be able to do your tour. You just wouldn't be able to drive down the street. You might have to walk down the street.
Yeah, well, like, it might be more difficult if there's an event happening in a certain section, say Flagler Street, so. City of Miami would have that schedule, right?
I would look at the,
That will always be changing. The Flagler Street closures are, you could close Flagler Street next week, technically, right? Yeah, technically. It'd be a little bit harder to do than that, but there isn't a schedule for that with great advance notice now.
out of curiosity, is it a walking tour? Okay.
So in that situation, you wouldn't.
I don't think you need
You
a
don't-
permit.
You don't have a venue.
We don't have a permit, but would like to know if, you know, if there's going to be difficult to get around enclosures, correct?
I would look at the city calendar. I would look at the location where you want to start, Bayfront calendar.
One of the key things when they close the streets is closing the street to vehicular traffic.
Right.
It's always important to keep the street open for people to be able to walk, because that's part of the event. So I don't think that, you know, I think do your diligence and take a look at that. But I doubt that that will be or impede on your walking tour.
Unless you want to go to Bayfront Park and it's closed.
Bayfront Park, yeah, that's the biggie. I've done that where I've given tours and it's like, oh, it's closed.
Question regarding Flagler Streets. Is it still, you're discouraging it from being activated, or what do you guys think?
I don't think that we've ever discouraged.
Like in a bad way, as in it's hard to, like, let's say permit, or, you know, like there's too much going on.
That's the city.
What does it feel about Flagler Streets?
Life isn't always easy. We at the PDA are continuing to work with our partners at the city to make sure that Flagler Street, hopefully in the future, it's easy to access, but also has a streamlined process for it to be closed. At the moment, the process is still the process that we're all familiar with in the past. The expense to close down the street has gone up because now it is an active street and closer to a highway than not, because it is a historic street and a main thoroughfare for Miami. And so that does come with some additional expense. But we highly recommend that you start, if that's what you're interested in, talking to folks at the city to shut down the street.
It's the city that counts the city, yeah.
You'll probably need both because it's Flagler Street.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we can share it inside our toolkit like we normally do. We will have the links for the special events permits. So if it is something that you're looking for with the city, you can have that accessible right there and know exactly where to click and where to go.
Or like content productions that are not specifically events.
For what?
What productions?
Content.
Yeah.
But in the last meeting, you mentioned you were looking at putting aside some money for financing production film. But this might not be that grant application,
No.
so it might not be relevant to today's meeting. But I just wanted to explain what the question was.
Okay.
Yeah, in the past and before, we've had conversations about supporting independent filmmakers in Miami. The DDAs does accept unsolicited proposals, so if that's something that you're interested in doing, I highly recommend that you email Kim or myself with your idea, and then we can set up a meeting and try to help to see how we can bring it to fruition.
If there aren't any more questions, we will be updating the website to include all this information as well as the application. And is there anything else to there?
No, I just appreciate everyone coming today. I hope everyone's staying cool. You have some questions? Oh, this question.
Okay, one more question. One of the great resources from this, and thanks again for putting this together. Continue to steward this. It's a great program. And my interest is around the downtown stakeholders list that you have. A super useful tool, kind of outdated in terms of contact information. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that tool or if you refresh it, still make it available for this round. Certainly been helpful for me to think about other relevant stakeholders and partners.
So absolutely, we actually update that monthly.
Okay.
So unfortunately, with the landscape, turnover is turnover. So we keep it as updated as possible, but all of this is included inside of our toolkit. And the toolkit will be available as well tomorrow.
And as MJ said, some of these adjustments are because we've been learning that grants are selected, and they're selected maybe because they're a specific topic that the grant review committee deems very important for downtown, which it is, and then that subject gets completely shifted to a different subject, date, holiday, event. So it kind of loses the placeholder that they were looking for. So that's why we're trying to keep everybody understanding that if you pick a special date, or if your subject changes tremendously, we have to bring it back to the board for a vote that happened this year.
Yeah, we've had that twice this year.
And we're starting to want people to really be committed and prepared for whatever the subject matter is that they want to produce. And if they're selected, then they're selected because of what your topic is. And that's an important thing to the committee. So am I making sense?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're not trying to be difficult or add extra layers. We're just trying to make sure that the grant awardees do activate their events for the subject in the time frame that they say they're going to activate their events. Otherwise, we have a hole in the calendar.
Yes.
We have a question for Laura Murinko. Will there be another meeting for legacy grantees?
We will be reaching out to the legacy grantees, and yes, there will be. We can't have another meeting. We'll be contacting them later this week. Okay.
Regarding matching funds, could it be a letter from the board president? Can it be of the nonprofit? Let's say, can it be showing that the organization receives different grants from different other,
As long
let's say
as-
county or, yeah.
Yes, we need proof saying that we're not the only grantee. That we're not the only one providing funding, that you're not the only person providing funding, that there's someone else that will be providing your group, your organization or event with additional funding,
Okay.
additional dollars.
Because different sponsorships,
Yep.
partnership.
Exactly.
It might not be in place by in a month. Let's say if our event is in March, so can we show past sponsorships that are interested in? Or is it better to be a letter from the board president saying?
If the
that
board,
they guarantee
if you have a board president that is guaranteeing funding, we
Right.
want to know about the guaranteed funding.
Okay, fair.
So
Just because it's a very quick turnaround, they might not have all the sponsorships in place yet.
About the blackout dates.
yes,
If it's planned to be by the end of October, is that like no way that it's considered?
so we don't even, it will not be considered. And the reason why is because grant awards are not awarded until this year, October 21st. So when it comes to requirements and also on our end, being able to deliver you grant agreements, it puts us in a very compromising
The
position.
clerical cycle just doesn't.
The clerical side, that's it. Clerical
And it
side
doesn't work for you either, right? If you were to try to add the DDA as an additional insured in the city of Miami, typically comes at an additional cost.
Yes.
We don't want you to have to pay a cost and then you don't receive the grant. And then we are additionally insured on your business. And so due to that time, I think if that's something that you're interested in, your event is going to be at the time, I think then you maybe don't apply and send us a proposal. We'll see if that's something that we could support through a different program, or you move the date to a different date.
Good question. Was there somebody online that had a question?
She read it.
Oh, she read it already. Anyone else?
But there's something right there. If we
bring in vendors at the activation, does their fee count as additional funding sources?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it
Vendors.
is. Because we don't know how much they will make. We're not guaranteed if they're going to sell. That's a big unknown.
That's not funding.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Or are you, the question then becomes, do you have vendors that are already, that you have signed up that are guaranteed to give you funding? And then how much is that? Like, will they all say that they're paying you that amount of money? Because then that is income. When you look at it, if you have vendors who are guaranteed to pay $200 to be a part of your event. But then that requires you getting confirmation from everybody that you're putting on this to us. So, and we do check. So this team does call and check to confirm and to verify. So keep that in mind.
Vendors consider revenue.
I would say vendors could be a revenue source, because if you are hiring vendors, and I'm gonna ask you all here.
But
They're paying.
most events would have vendors to fund the event. So that would be
A source of
it could be a
income.
partnership of vendors.
Yeah, it could be a partnership, so yes.
But we have to see actual.
But we have proof, yeah. As long as you provide the proof that we can check, that's great.
Max, was there another question?
No, he already said, okay, thank you.
Good luck to
Well,
everybody.
no, I want to take a bit of personal privilege.
Sorry.
Our chair is celebrating her birthday later this month. Happy birthday, and to thank you just for everything you've done. This program. Now,
Okay.
make sure you all talk amongst yourselves, and actually we have some refreshments.
Yeah, I knew. I was gonna get-
We're Leah.
I was gonna give you the